Welcome to my channel. HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is one that weaves through history, art, economy, and the intricate world of numismatics. For coin collectors, enthusiasts, and historians alike, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is a symbol of America's rich past, its minting evolution, and the lasting impact of small details on the world of rare coins. While this coin may appear to be just another penny to the casual observer, beneath its surface lies a fascinating narrative that connects us to decades of history. To fully appreciate the significance of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, we must start with a glance back into the broader context of U.S. currency in the early 20th century. The United States had just emerged from the Great Depression, and its economy was beginning to stabilize. It was a time of recovery, progress, and innovation, and this sense of optimism permeated all aspects of American life, including its coins. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909, designed by the renowned engraver Victor David Brenner to commemorate the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. For nearly 50 years, this iconic coin, with its simple yet profound imagery, remained a staple of American currency. Fast forward to 1957. By then, the design of the wheat penny had been in circulation for nearly 5 decades, and its familiar features, the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, had become deeply ingrained in the national consciousness. However, 1957 marked a particularly interesting period in the history of U.S. coins. The world was shifting. The post-World War II era was ushering in an age of prosperity, consumerism, and technological advances. In the realm of coinage, a significant transition was on the horizon. Just a few years after 1957, the U.S. Mint would stop producing the wheat penny entirely in favor of the new memorial cent, a coin that would honor Lincoln's legacy in a different way. But before the wheat penny faded into history, the 1957 edition would have a profound place in the hearts of collectors, thanks in part to the limited numbers and the condition of certain coins that have since become incredibly rare. The Lincoln wheat penny itself is an example of the careful craftsmanship and artistry that went into U.S. coin design during the early to mid-20th century. On the obverse, we see the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, sculpted with remarkable detail by Brenner. His image was meant to represent the enduring strength and unity of the nation, as well as its commitment to freedom and equality. The word liberty arches over his head, with "In God We Trust" inscribed below, a testament to the nation's guiding principles. Just beneath his chin, the year of mintage appears, marking the particular moment in time when this coin was struck. On the reverse of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, 2 stalks of wheat are flanked by the words, E pluribus unum, the U.S. motto meaning, out of many, one. This imagery is symbolic, representing the nation's agricultural roots and the unity of its people. The phrase 1 cent rests at the bottom of the coin, while United States of America is written along the top edge. The minting of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny took place at several U.S. mints, but notably, the Philadelphia Mint produced the vast majority of them. The coin, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighed approximately 3.11 grams and had a diameter of 19 millimeters, characteristics that remained consistent with other years of the wheat penny series. However, 1957 stood out for the sheer volume of pennies produced, making it seem like just another, common, year in the world of coin collecting. But as we know, common years can sometimes hold surprises. In 1957, the Mint struck a total of over 1.2 billion pennies, an incredibly high number, and this fact contributed to the coin's perceived common status in the decades that followed. But as is often the case in the world of numismatics, there is always more to the story than meets the eye. Many 1957 pennies are relatively easy to find in circulation today, but collectors quickly noticed that some examples of the 1957 wheat penny were rarer and more valuable than others. Key to this phenomenon was the condition of the coin, and this is where the real intrigue begins. The value of a coin, especially a common one like the 1957 penny, is largely determined by its grade. Coins that are well preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, and other signs of wear, are more likely to be valued highly by collectors. A coin in pristine condition can command a much higher price than one that has been worn down by decades of handling. Over the years, various editions of the 1957 penny have surfaced with special characteristics that have made them extremely desirable to collectors. For example, some 1957 pennies were mistakenly minted with flaws, such as double die errors, where the design was struck more than once, creating an unusual visual effect. These errors are rare, and when they are found, they can significantly increase the value of the coin. The 1957 double die penny, for instance, has become one of the most sought-after variations in the entire wheat penny series, commanding thousands of dollars in pristine condition. Some estimates suggest that certain 1957 wheat pennies could fetch upwards of $25,000 if they are in near-perfect condition and display the double die error. But there's one particular 1957 Lincoln wheat penny that stands above them all, a coin so rare and unique that it has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. In fact, this one coin has become the holy grail for enthusiasts of U.S. coinage, a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny that is, in a word, extraordinary. This particular penny was struck with a rare die variety and, for all intents and purposes, it is unlike any other penny of its kind. Over the years, this specific 1957 Lincoln wheat penny has been authenticated, graded, and sold in high-profile auctions. Its uniqueness comes not just from the rarity of the error, but from the coin's condition. In fact, this coin is so well preserved that it has earned a grade of MS67, which stands for Mint State 67, a grade that denotes an almost flawless coin. To put this into perspective, the vast majority of coins in circulation are graded much lower, often because of the wear and tear they experience over time. So, what does this extraordinary coin sell for today? Well, the value of this specific 1957 Lincoln wheat penny has reached staggering heights, with some estimates putting its current worth at $189,700. That's right, a single 1957 penny, which once circulated freely among the general public, now commands a price nearly 190,000 times greater than its original face value. This incredible price reflects the rarity, condition, and historical importance of the coin, as well as the intense demand for rare coins among collectors and investors. The market for high-grade coins, especially those with unique characteristics or errors, is a thriving industry, and coins like the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny continue to appreciate in value as more collectors discover their worth. To wrap up, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is far more than just a relic of the past. It serves as a window into the history of the United States, a reminder of the nation's ongoing journey, and a testament to the artistry and craftsmanship of coin design. But perhaps most importantly, it illustrates how even the smallest, most seemingly insignificant items can, over time, become treasures of immense value. If you ever come across a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in your pocket change, take a closer look. It might just be the start of your own numismatic journey. And who knows? You might be holding a coin that's worth far more than its face value, just like the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny that recently fetched $189,700. Top 2. In the vast world of coin collecting, there's one penny that holds a unique place in history: the 2000 United States Lincoln 1-cent penny. It's a coin that often gets overlooked in the shuffle of more popular, older pieces. But behind its simple design and modest appearance lies a story of historical significance, minting errors, and a surprising value that has captured the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. If you think a penny from the year 2000 is nothing special, think again. This humble coin, with its unmistakable image of Abraham Lincoln, carries more weight than you might expect. To understand the importance of the 2000 Lincoln penny, we first need to consider the time in which it was minted. The turn of the millennium was a time of immense cultural and technological change. The United States was entering a new era, one marked by technological advances, economic prosperity, and the anxieties that accompany major shifts in society. The year 2000 saw the rise of the internet, the dot-com boom, and growing concerns about the Y2K bug. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was quietly continuing its mission of producing the nation's currency, unaware that a certain penny minted in this year would become a hot commodity on the numismatic market in the decades to come. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, commonly known simply as the Lincoln penny, has been in circulation since 1909, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The design has remained largely unchanged for over a century, featuring the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a variety of reverse designs. However, the year 2000 was particularly notable for coin collectors for several reasons, not least of which was the debut of a special commemorative design, the reverse of 1909. For the 2000 penny, the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. This decision was part of a broader effort to honor Lincoln's legacy, and to mark the occasion, the reverse of the coin was redesigned to resemble the original 1909 design, which had shown two stalks of wheat flanking the coin's denomination. This was the last time the wheat design would appear on a circulating U.S. coin, and it marked a moment of nostalgia for coin collectors. The decision to reintroduce the wheat design was part of the U.S. Mint's larger strategy of creating a special year for coins, which would appeal to both collectors and the general public. While the penny itself may have seemed relatively ordinary at first glance, the redesign added a layer of depth and historical connection that caught the attention of those with a keen eye for detail. The 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny, like all pennies in the U.S., is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. It weighs approximately 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. But what made this particular coin stand out was its limited production and the small number of errors that occurred during its minting, which would later go on to make it one of the most sought-after pennies in the numismatic world. One of the key reasons the 2000 penny became a hot topic among collectors was the discovery of several errors in its production. While most coins produced during this time period are fairly common and don't have a significant market value, the 2000 penny was subject to some very noticeable mistakes that have driven prices to new heights. The most famous error in the 2000 penny is the close AM versus wide AM error. This refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin. The normal or correct version of the penny features the letters A and M separated by a noticeable gap, the wide AM variety. However, a small number of 2000 pennies were mistakenly struck with the letters A and M closer together, creating the close AM variety. This simple error, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, would become one of the most prized finds for coin collectors. The close AM pennies were the result of a die change at the U.S. Mint, and only a small number of these coins made it into circulation. For years, the wide AM design was the standard, and it was assumed that the 2000 penny would be no different. But when collectors began noticing subtle differences in the spacing of the letters, they realized they had stumbled upon something rare. The close AM variety became highly coveted, and those lucky enough to find one in their pocket change would later learn that it was worth far more than its 1-cent face value. This is where the story of the 2000 Lincoln penny takes a fascinating turn. While the close AM penny may have been a rare find when it first appeared, the numismatic community's interest only grew as the years passed. Over time, the value of these error coins skyrocketed. One penny, in particular, was graded as MS-67, Mint State 67, by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, which is considered an exceptional grade for a coin of this age. This coin would go on to sell for an impressive $40,000 at auction. This remarkable sale of a single 2000 close AM penny for $40,000 is a testament to the power of rarity and demand in the world of coin collecting. It's also a reminder that something as simple as a penny, which seems inconsequential in our day-to-day lives, can become an object of immense value when it carries the right story, history, and condition. The 2000 Lincoln close AM penny is a prime example of how even modern coins, produced in vast quantities, can sometimes harbor hidden treasures that are worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars. But what is it that makes this coin so valuable? It's not just the error itself, but the condition in which it exists. The higher the grade of a coin, the more valuable it becomes. A coin with the close AM error, that is in pristine condition, with no scratches, discoloration, or wear, will be worth far more than one that has been circulated and damaged over time. A penny with a grade of MS67 or higher is considered almost perfect, and such coins are rare to find. That's why the 2000 Lincoln penny with the close AM error in excellent condition is worth so much. But let's not forget the broader significance of this coin. The 2000 penny, like all coins, is a representation of the country's economy, culture, and historical milestones. While it may seem like a trivial piece of currency, each coin carries a unique story. The 2000 Lincoln penny is no exception. From the decision to redesign the reverse to celebrate the 90th anniversary of Lincoln's cent to the serendipitous error that created the close AM variety, this small coin encapsulates a moment in time, both in U.S. history and in the world of coin collecting. And so, what began as just another penny in circulation has now become a sought-after treasure, with collectors actively searching for the 2000 close AM variety. If you happen to come across one of these coins in your pocket change, take a closer look. It might just be the start of your own numismatic adventure, and who knows? You might be holding a penny worth far more than its face value, potentially thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. The 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny, with its historical connection, design, and fascinating era variety, reminds us all that there's more to the world of coins than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey into the world of numismatics, this penny is a perfect example of how the smallest details can make the biggest difference. The next time you come across a 2000 penny, take a moment to examine it. It could very well be worth more than you ever imagined. After all, you might just be holding a coin that's worth a stunning $40,000. Top 3. The year 1996 might seem like just another page in history, but for coin collectors, it's the year a particular penny came into existence that would later captivate the numismatic world. This unassuming, everyday coin, the Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1996, would eventually become one of the most discussed and sought-after pennies in American history. And while most of us may never have given a second thought to this humble penny, for those in the know, it is a small treasure worth examining, and in some cases, worth a staggering $50,000. The story begins, as many do, with history. In 1996, the United States of America was at the tail end of the 20th century, a period of rapid technological advancements and cultural shifts. The internet was still in its infancy. Bill Clinton had been re-elected for his second term as president, and the world was bracing for the new millennium. Yet, as the country entered this exciting new phase, the U.S. Mint was busy making sure the country's currency kept pace with the times. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, as we know it today, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, the penny's design has remained largely unchanged for over a century. The obverse features a bust of the 16th President of the United States, with Liberty and In God We Trust inscribed, while the reverse traditionally featured 2 stalks of wheat. However, by the time we get to 1996, the Lincoln penny had undergone a significant change. The wheat stalks were replaced in 1959 by a new design, the Lincoln Memorial, in honor of the monument to Lincoln's legacy in Washington, D.C. Despite these design changes over the years, the general public had become familiar with the penny as a simple, unremarkable coin, just another piece of currency circulating in our pockets, hardly ever noticed or appreciated. Yet, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value, especially when hidden away for years. In 1996, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies. According to records, the total mintage of the 1996 penny amounted to over 8 billion coins, a staggering number. Most of these coins were minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the two primary facilities responsible for producing the nation's circulating currency. In most years, coins like the 1996 penny would enter circulation, go about their work in vending machines, registers, and wallets, before being worn down, lost, or thrown away. But with time and careful scrutiny, some coins like the 1996 penny began to develop a reputation for being more than just pocket change. The design of the 1996 penny itself was not significantly different from its predecessors. On the obverse, we still find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a timeless symbol of the nation's enduring values. Inscriptions of "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" surround his image, while the year of mintage appears just beneath his chin. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, which had been in place since 1959, stands tall and proud, surrounded by the words, "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum." The penny's weight and size remained consistent with prior years, 2.5 grams in weight, a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. It was a year like any other, it seemed, until one small detail would emerge that would change the course of the 1996 penny's legacy. For while most of the coins were typical, a few rare and highly coveted variations were produced, and those variations would go on to bring collectors to the edge of their seats. Enter the 1996 double-die obverse penny. This error, a result of an unusual minting process, would make the 1996 penny one of the most highly sought-after coins of the 20th century. The error occurred when a coin die was improperly aligned during the striking process, causing the design to appear doubled on the obverse. The doubling was most noticeable in the word "Liberty," where the letters were clearly imprinted more than once, creating a blurry, almost ghostly effect. This flaw, while subtle to the untrained eye, was a major discovery for collectors. The 1996 doubled die penny was the result of a die that had been overused or improperly maintained, and its rarity would soon propel it into the world of high-value coin collecting. The discovery of these doubled die pennies sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Suddenly, a coin that was once seen as commonplace was transformed into a valuable and elusive piece of history. A small handful of these errors were released into circulation, and for a while, they remained undetected among millions of regular pennies. But as more and more collectors and numismatists examined their coins under magnification, the error was identified. The doubled die variety quickly gained traction in the coin collecting world, with auction houses and dealers starting to take notice, while the vast majority of 1996 pennies remained normal, that is, without the doubling. Those that did carry the error quickly became prized possessions. Because the doubled die variety was so rare, it immediately garnered interest from serious collectors, pushing prices upwards. Coins with the error that were in good condition could fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. But as collectors continued to search for the error, it became clear that some of the 1996 pennies with the doubling were in exceptional condition, and these specimens would go on to command astronomical prices at auction. One such penny, graded MS-67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, was sold for an incredible sum. The coin, almost perfect in condition, was coveted by collectors who understood that the combination of rarity and pristine condition made it an incredibly valuable asset. While other errors and misprints might get overlooked or forgotten over time, the 1996 double die obverse penny became a lasting symbol of how a small imperfection in minting could turn an everyday object into an extraordinary one. But the 1996 penny wasn't done making history just yet. As time went on, more and more coins with the doubling error began to surface. This led to an increase in interest, with more and more collectors actively searching for the 1996 double die obverse pennies in their local coin shops, through online auctions, and even in pocket change. The scarcity of these coins, paired with the fact that they had been produced in such large quantities that it was almost impossible to spot the error initially, made them even more desirable. Now, as we fast forward to the present day, the value of the 1996 double die obverse penny has reached remarkable heights. Coins in excellent condition, those graded MS-65 or higher, can easily fetch upwards of $10,000 to $15,000, but the real showstoppers, the specimens in MS-67 or even better condition, are now commanding prices of $50,000 or more. Yes, a single penny from 1996, with a subtle but impactful minting error, is now worth $50,000 to collectors who are eager to own a piece of numismatic history. Why such an astronomical price for a penny? The value of coins like the 1996 double-dive verse penny comes down to several key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. The rarity of the error, combined with the fact that only a small number of these coins were minted and preserved in such pristine condition, makes them incredibly valuable. The demand among collectors, driven by a passion for rare coins and historical artifacts, has only increased as more people become aware of the penny's significance. So, the next time you encounter a 1996 Lincoln penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. It might look like just another coin, but hidden within that small piece of currency could be a treasure worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a casual observer, it's clear that the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than it appears at first glance. It's a symbol of the surprising value that can exist in the most unexpected of places, a reminder that even the smallest pieces of history can become monumental treasures in the world of numismatics. And who knows? The penny you find today might be worth far more than its face value, maybe even $50,000. Keep your eyes open, and you might just uncover a hidden gem. Top 4. The 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, just another penny, a common coin that many of us have handled countless times. Yet, as we dive deeper into its story, we'll discover that this seemingly mundane coin holds a fascinating tale of history, design, and unassuming value. For coin collectors, enthusiasts, and anyone with a passion for numismatics, the 1988 penny offers more than meets the eye. It's a coin that has silently earned its place in the annals of American currency, thanks to a series of historical factors, a few minor yet important design changes, and, most notably, the rare variations that can make it worth far more than its face value. Let's rewind a bit to the year 1988. The world was in the midst of significant change. The United States was recovering from the economic recessions of the early 1980s, with growth steadily climbing through the decade. The stock market was booming, the end of the Cold War was on the horizon, and technology was advancing rapidly. Yet, as Americans celebrated the rise of new technologies and a shifting global political landscape, something remarkably old, the coinage in their pockets, remained largely the same. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, designed over 70 years ago in 1909, continued to feature the same basic design, with only minor adjustments over time. In fact, by 1988, the Lincoln penny had already undergone a few design changes. Since its debut, the coin had evolved from its original wheat stalk reverse to the more iconic Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been in circulation since 1959. The Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo, depicted the architectural grandeur of the memorial in Washington, D.C., with Abraham Lincoln's image still gracing the obverse of the coin. This design was familiar to millions, and by 1988, it had become a symbol of stability in the world of U.S. currency. So, in a way, the 1988 penny was a part of an established tradition. But what makes the 1988 Lincoln penny stand out in the grand scheme of U.S. coinage? Before we dive into the specific details that make this penny unique, let's look at the larger context. The U.S. Mint had produced billions of pennies by 1988, and the overwhelming majority of them were meant to circulate in everyday commerce. In fact, the mintage numbers for this year were extraordinarily high. In total, the U.S. Mint produced more than 7 billion pennies in 1988, spread across its Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of these coins were minted in large batches, resulting in pennies that, over time, would be used and worn down by their time in circulation. The Lincoln penny in 1988, like other pennies of the era, was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighed approximately 3.11 grams and had a diameter of 19 millimeters. It was small, light, and utilitarian, designed for frequent use rather than as a rare collectible. But therein lies the interesting part of coin collecting. Even the most commonly produced coins, like the 1988 penny, can harbor unexpected treasures. And sometimes, those treasures come from subtle minting errors or slight variations in production point. One of the major reasons the 1988 penny has gained attention over time is because of one specific characteristic. The 1988 penny was one of the last years to be produced in a primarily copper-based composition before the U.S. Mint switched to a primarily zinc-based alloy in 1982. This meant that while the penny of 1988 still carried the familiar weight, feel, and shine of previous copper pennies, it was also one of the last few years that collectors would consider part of the traditional Lincoln penny series. As a result, the 1988 Lincoln penny holds a certain nostalgic value for those who appreciate the heft and feel of older copper coins. While the 1988 penny was still mass-produced for circulation, a closer look at certain examples reveals that some coins were struck with notable flaws. These minting errors, often small, subtle, and easily overlooked, are part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. One of the most well-known issues with the 1988 penny is the presence of slight double-strike errors, where the coin was struck twice by the minting press. These errors can create a blurry or doubled image, particularly on the letters or numbers on the obverse of the coin. While these errors are relatively rare, they've contributed to the coin's allure. As with many errors in numismatics, a penny that appears to be imperfect is often viewed as a hidden gem by collectors. In addition to the double-strike errors, the 1988 penny is notable for a few more reasons. The first is the fact that, by this point in history, the penny had been in circulation for nearly 80 years, and it had become a reliable part of daily transactions. But the steady wear of the years had started to affect the quality of many pennies. Some examples of the 1988 penny, particularly those in uncirculated condition, began to stand out as being in remarkable shape. A pristine 1988 penny, untouched by the passage of time, is far rarer than you might think. For coin collectors, finding an uncirculated, flawless 1988 penny is a prize, one that can be worth far more than its nominal value. At this point, you might be wondering what makes the 1988 penny so special in the world of modern U.S. coinage. The answer lies in the combination of rarity, condition, and historical context. In the years following 1988, the U.S. Mint would see the introduction of significant changes to U.S. currency, including the redesign of coins like the penny and the nickel. By 2009, the Lincoln penny would see a major redesign to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and the penny would undergo several other changes in the years to come. But the 1988 penny, caught in the final years of the copper-era coinage, remains an important part of that transition. It represents an era when pennies were still made of mostly copper, and it serves as a tangible link to an earlier time in U.S. currency history. Now, let's take a step back and look at how this translates into value. If you were to examine the 1988 Lincoln penny, especially one that's in excellent condition, you might think it's worth just 1 cent, and for most pennies, that's the case. But for collectors, that 1 cent can be worth far more. The 1988 Lincoln penny, in its most perfect form, is a highly collectible coin. A mint state, MS coin, especially one graded at MS 67 or higher, can be worth considerably more. A flawless example of this penny can sell for anywhere between $20 and $50, but the rare 1988 penny with specific errors, like a double strike or other notable flaws, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Perhaps the most notable example of this value increase is an era coin known as the 1988 double strike penny. A well-preserved example of this particular error, with the double image of Liberty, or In God We Trust, can fetch anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000, depending on its condition and rarity. The reason these era coins are so valuable is simple. They were produced in small numbers, and their unique imperfections make them highly desirable to collectors. As with any coin in the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are the two driving factors behind a coin's value. The rarer a coin is, the more collectors are willing to pay for it, especially if that coin is tied to an important historical context. When you hold a 1988 Lincoln penny in your hand, it may look like just another everyday coin. But behind its simplicity is a rich history and a valuable place in the world of numismatics. What makes this coin stand out is the combination of rarity, the historical shift in coinage, and the often overlooked errors that can increase its worth. The next time you encounter a 1988 penny, take a closer look. It might not be just a penny, it could be a piece of history worth far more than its face value. In fact, with the right features, the 1988 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $60,000. In the world of coin collecting, a penny isn't always just a penny. And the 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a coin can hold much more value and significance than we might initially think. If you're lucky enough to find a rare version of the 1988 penny, you might just hold the key to a small fortune.